Brotha BlueStocking.
Yeah, I'll be right in. Go ahead.
Well, first off, you're going to have to explain Brotha BlueStocking again.
Okay, Brotha BlueStocking is a pen name I write under for fun purposes, but it's a lot of my personality because I'm actually a writer slash musician on the side. You know, music helps me, with my too many contemplative thoughts. It's a break from it. So it's a combination of Brotha BlueStocking is my terminology because a BlueStocking is a intellectually inclined individual in Webster's dictionary. Brother is obviously a brother, a black individual. I obviously have, we all come from something, and the same thing ultimately from the African continent as far as, genealogically is concerned, but we come in different colors over time. But I have a Dutch ancestry and a slave trader as the great-grandfather, a Native American side and an African American side, but the police define me as a brother. So this is what I am.
Gotcha. So Brotha BlueStocking, we're here in Boston and you're homeless. What's on your mind?
Well, that I got myself into my mistakes. So I want to get myself out of them as autonomously as possible to learn from my lessons. Learn my lessons from my mistakes. Right. The system has gotten in the way of me trying to do that. My right to self-determination has been thwarted by law, some programs, even drug programs or alcohol programs or people in general, because the society has changed now. It's no longer about the individual finding himself and having the right and the freedom to express himself. It's closing down in many ways through the process. I'm a licensed teacher and licensed guidance counselor, but I would never do those jobs again for reasons I could not even explain on the camera. I'm going a different direction in life. In fact, I'd like to put both of my master's degrees and my state licenses in those fields in New York and California, which are the biggest school systems in the country. I'd like to put them on eBay, my licenses.
Wow.
But if that's possible, I accept $500 for each one of them, if they want to use them. I could probably give them a fake passport too. But
we were talking about the middle class going away.
the middle class is a sad part, because this used to be a more vibrant society that had a middle class that gave you an example to aspire to, or an illusion, however you want to look at it. It made this country richer, because you could adjust yourself, you could find a pocket and maybe ascend, whatever they call it, in this material existence, if that's what you do. But that's disappearing for people, and the sad part is more people are going to wind up in this quote-unquote situation. I'm going to get out of mine because I got into it. I have no problem knowing that. I'm on top of the world. I can't help it if other people can't see the shit. But it's what other people don't see for themselves a lot, because if you have an economy that doesn't have much promise, and jobs that are gone overseas, and politicians, and even a president who has good intentions is fighting with a losing deck. So therefore, it will behoove you to say the middle class is disappearing, and there are going to be more people in situations like this. And now the society is not going to have to look at other people as individuals in those situations. Case in point, when I graduated college in 1987, you had more of a chance to get a job after college. You got kids running around here now spending more money on college and less jobs.
Right.
So that alone is going to create a problem, let alone somebody who might have an issue, a substance abuse problem, somebody who may have been molested as a child and all of a sudden it rings into their ears and they have problems adjusting as an adult. Or the various situations, my problem or anybody else's. Now, as I said, I take responsibility for abusing alcohol and other substances, getting in my own way, and I'm getting out of my way, and I'm going to be fine. But the reality is, this material existence is a problem because there's more haves and have-nots.
Right. Now, relating it back to homeless services, we're talking about what is homeless services going to do, or the regular people that, look down upon us when we walk into a store or something. What are they going to do when there's a lot more of us?
Well, they're going to have to do something, because they are probably the biggest delusion.
Well, how are you treated? Now, how are homeless people treated on the street? That's how the conversation started.
Homeless people are treated subhuman in many instances, pitied, and and treated as almost as though they do not exist.
Invisible.
Invisible, as Ralph Ellison wrote, Invisible Man, which pertained to African American having a double consciousness that Du Bois talked about, that you walk into a room and however high you are intellectually or not, in some white circles, you are learning that I'm black and I'm also fitting into a white existence. I have to play invisible, but that's disappearing now. That is now a colorblind factor. And now it transfers over to whatever you are in that situation. Now you throw in a middle class that's disappearing. More people are in that pot of all colors. So now that's the adjustment is going to have to be made of institutions where you have a person working for $10 an hour giving out a towel to somebody that lost a job that's not coming back, doesn't deserve to be treated certain ways, when that person that's got that $10 an hour job doesn't have a tenth of that person's education he's giving the towel to. Now, this also does not make everybody who's in that situation someone who deserves a greater treatment, because they're assholes in all lines of life. But you can't go brushing everyone the same, because the jobs are not going to reappear overnight. More people are going to be in these situations. So, you know.
Okay, we only have a couple minutes left. Solutions.
Well,
I always feel that we got to be real about social crisis, but we have to present them in truth, or with hope, because otherwise people are just going to give up. And call me a glass half full thinker. As the economy gets worse, we got to get better. So you got 2 minutes.
Well, I think you put it good, because you said it in order properly. Truth first, realizing what's going on, and then look for hope.
Right.
But unless you realize that truth, and you walk around here and, like, say, you know, more concerned when Oprah's last day on television was, or whether or not the Boston Celtics win the championship.
Oprah's off TV?
Yeah.
No way.
Yet at the same time, you not realize that all these jobs are gone.
Right.
The children are graduating. And I'm a licensed teacher, and you know, I know how social promotion works. I know, and this is not now just a minority problem. It's a problem in America that children are graduating high school and can barely write because the structure in the school is not there.
Right.
And the structure in the home is not there. They get to college, and the worst job, I've taught English, freshman English overseas. The worst job for an English professor is getting a paper somebody writes that graduated from high school. They may as well be going back to teach them stuff that they should have learned in middle school. So this is a problem for our country. And that way to learn these truths first and then try to find hope is the only way.
So what's the hope? I mean, you got your own personal game plan.
Yeah.
You're getting out of this.
I'm already out of it. I'm top of the world.
Yeah.
People just don't see
last
it.
night.
I was on the river, man. I do the Charles River underneath the Longfellow Bridge.
Because it was raining.
Yeah, but the Longfellow Bridge has a tunnel that has an excellent ecosystem for my harmonica. I was working out some songs.
But nobody should have to live like that.
No.
Not in this country.
Right.
So now you've got your game plan.
Yeah, well, there was a shelter I was
do?
avoiding because somebody was kind of after me.
What do we do as far as a country, as far as a society, not to directly help you, but to help the other people that are out here on the streets that might not be as educated, self-motivated, or have the self-worth?
That's a very good
because it all brings down to dignity, and you got 1 minute.
Wow, that was a good one. Well, a system that allows for more chance, first of all, understanding what you said. People in shelter systems, people who are police officers, people who are teachers in social positions, they have to change their mentality.
Right.
Not that they can fix it overnight, but if you talk to a person differently, that improves his humanity. There was a man in New York City who died. Okay, his name was Arthur. And then he was very obese, and he could not get any services in this country. Now he laid in a village, and we discussed African American music in France because he was from France. And I would walk. I said, "This guy's deep." So I would walk past, and I would say his name, and he would pop up out of his rags with dignity. Very simple.
We got to give people purpose and dignity.
There you go.
But how do we do that? How do we do that as a society?
I first recognized his name. Nobody called his name.
Well, that's
Once you do that, you recognize that's an individual. Once you're in a shelter system, you recognize I'm giving a towel to
that's the
somebody.
whole point of this website, is to give
Humanity.
people on the streets.
Some humanity back.
It's not edited. It's raw. It's
Yes,
your.
yes, yes.
You know what I mean? It can't
Right.
be spun. I'm not spinning it. This is
Exactly.
everything you said's going on
It
there.
starts with the humanity giving that back a
And
little.
homelessness has a name.
Yes.
Mine was Mark when I was homeless.
Right. And I never forgot mine, which is giving a problem to police departments and district attorneys and people who have more education than. They have to learn the hard way.
I could talk to you for a month and a half, maybe.
Right.
longer.
Reach out and touch someone.
But yeah, right, exactly.
AT&T.
Okay. If you had 3 wishes, briefly, what would they be?
Well, my wish is that I wake up tomorrow without migraines and I eat better and I don't pass out and I don't overwork myself, because I've got a lot of things to accomplish and I got to be healthy and alive to do it a little while longer. Very simple. And a cup of coffee would help when I'm writing at 5 o'clock in the morning across the street.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me.
You got it.